Hey, run it back. Rewind. That's my shit, y'all. I gotta run out and bite. Hey, boy, y'all don't know about this right here, boy. I bet y'all don't know about this. It ain't. Salute to everybody in the house with the long ass intro. Going back to 1993 on the novel. Boy, 1993 was wild as hell, boy. Gang banging probably was at its worst back then, boy. Gang banging bad now, but boy, back in 93, oh my gosh, these knockers was terrible. But that's the kind of music they was making too. But hey, we got a good show lined up. Salute to everybody in the house. By the way, great day. Welcome to the House of Con. I am Blackjack. We got more knock in the house. All you have yourself in the house. We got the Serpent King God Morpheus original in the house. Salute. Salute to everybody. I'm ready to talk some enlightenment. I'm ready to have an intelligent conversation, even though we might have a little bit of roasting and a little bit of joking. But I'm ready to have another intelligent conversation. And the title of tonight's show is The Merchant House Indian. Salute, salute, the Merchant House Indian, Managa. And I already know what all the Nagas is thinking. I am the Naga Whisperer. I know what all Nagas be thinking. What the hell is a Merchant House Indian, Blackjack? We talking about the Merchant House Indian tonight, and I know a lot of people might not have heard of a Merchant House Indian. Well, you know, lately we've been talking about the topic of tobacco Indians, the history of tobacco, the history of the tobacco Indian, the history of the Negro, the history of slavery, China Keys in the house, salute. We've been talking about all this kind of stuff. All this kind of stuff, right? So we've been going in the history of America because it's all connected. We even got to talking about the pharmacy Indians, the apothecary. Because you know they had cigar store Indians, they had pharmacy Indians. They called them Morin apothecary. Remember that? The Morin apothecary. That was the last show. We talked about the apothecary Morin, the pharmacy Indians. Because we know about the cigar store Indians whom they tell us the European carpers was blind and they ain't know what Native American looked like. But it's funny because the pharmacy Indian predates the tobacco, the cigar store Indian. The pharmacy Indian came before that, and it came before 1619. So the pharmacy Indian is really effing up their story about slavery, Africa, and all of that. It don't line up with history. 1550s, they had the pharmacy Indian showing the Nagas. Well, this right here, what we looking at, this is another example. But this is not a pharmacy Indian. This is not a cigar store Indian. This is a merchant house Indian. Salute, salute, merchant house Indian, Managa. Several examples. And we're going to get it. I done used this image before. If you've been here with me for a while, you done seen it. I think we used it first because I still ain't seen no other channel using this image. But if you've been with me for a while, you know about this image, and we're going to go back to the source. But before we go there, let me hit my water real quick, y'all. I drank some juice, and it's leaving the taste on my tongue. I don't like that when I be talking. I just like to have the taste of water. But listen, we talked about the cigar store Indians, the pharmacy Indians. And now we're finna talk about the merchant house Indians, because this is all our history. This is our ancestors, and they was depicting them, man. This is important. Let's get into it. But before we get into I'm gonna show y'all where this image come from for the people that don't remember, or the new people that's in the house. Y'all do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, share the video. Copper Goddess in the house, salute. Hey, Molten Gate in the house, salute. Boom, shakalaka! But I'm going to show y'all where it comes from for the people that ain't never seen it and for the people that don't remember. But before we go to where that come from, let's go to something else first. Hold on, not this. These knockers in the 90s were wild, boy. This thing, you know, Scarface back in 1993, these little knockers were wild as hell, man. But not that, though. That's not what I was going to. I wanted to first, before we go to I was gonna do a show yesterday called Sweetmeat Blackamoor, because not only did they make cigar store Indians, not only did they make pharmacy Indians or apothecary Moors, not only did they make merchant house Indians, they made something called the Sweetmeat Blackamoor, which is an Indian, and they got everything to do with sugar and slavery. This got mostly to do with the Nagas that was in the Caribbean. A lot of them they was sending from Virginia and sending from Carolina down there to the Caribbean, and sending some of them Nagas up to Virginia and Carolina. But that's where the sugar trade at. Cause somebody was talking about the sugar trade, but I ain't dwelling too much on the sugar slavery right now. The reason why is because tobacco is the key to the Indian history that we need to understand. Salute. Indians introduced tobacco to the world. American Indians didn't introduce sugar to the world. Sugar was already out there, but sugar was a part of slavery. And it was big money in it. But the tobacco is the key for us, because it's common knowledge that American Indians, the real American Indians, introduced the world to tobacco. So that's the reason why I'm dwelling on that. But let's talk about, before we jump into the merchant house Indian, we'll show an example of the sweetmeat Blackamoor. Look at this. It's from the images from the sugar trade. See, they call it a sweetmeat dish. Look at the Naga. You know what I'm saying? Some idiot gonna say that that's an African. Since the African came over on the slave ship with feathers on, from all the slave ship cartoons I seen, they was butt naked. So what, he got feathered up after he got over here? Don't make sense. Nah, that's an American Indian. Oh. All right. So these are what they call sweetmeat Blackamoor. And there was two main makers of these. They was German, the Messiaen, and the other one I can't remember his name right now. Oh yeah, there you go, Nymphenburg. The Nymphenburg and the Messiaen, the Meissen sweetmeat Blackamoor. They used to put sugar in these, or sweet treats, and it all go with the sugar slave trade in the Americas, because they was trying to show off the sugary treats and stuff that they was making from the sugar and the sugar cane that they was getting from America. So when you click on images of when you put in sweetmeat Blackamoor, you click on images, you get these like it's one still for sale, but it's broken. There you go, right there. That one there, no, that ain't it. It's one on eBay. It's like only one I seen that's for sale. Cause I saw one that I thought was for sale. I was gonna try to buy it. Cause these are, you can get at a time, you could have caught these for around $600, $700, $500 even, but not anymore. And see, this lid comes off, and they'll either put sugar in it, or they'll put something sweet in there, candy even. And this is part of the history. So we gotta understand that. Truth be told, China in the house, salute. So this is part of history, and they showing off the Negro Indians. They showing where they got the stuff from America. See, black figure of a sweet meat dish. Black figure with a sweet meat dish. See, I'm tired of people showing these images and playing dumb. It's like, even the people that write about them, you notice they always play dumb. Could this be this, or could it be that? They always play dumb about it, right? But let's stop playing dumb. Even people that sharing the images online, you rarely see people really doing, okay, we got the images, okay, well, research, what is it? What does it pertain to? And like I'm saying, it's the sweet meat dish. So I want to point that out. They was the so-called the true old world, the so-called new world of them. They was coming over here, and everything was new that they was discovering. The kind of sugar that we had, the tobacco that we had, and the people that was having it. And it was depicting that, man. They was spending, this took some effort to make this out of porcelain. And they had all the colors in the rainbow. So they can't just, they even had white. So they can't say, it was an accident that they painted the Indian. This got everything to do with America, not Africa. That is an Indian. You got to be a fool to try to say it's not an Indian. You can culturally see that that's an Indian from how he's dressed and from what it's pertaining to, American colonialism. So you can't say it's African. If you say it's African, you're just being ignorant. You're being willfully ignorant, or you just just being in denial. And there's several versions of these. Like, look at this one, and you can tell these was depicted after real people because they all look different. Like, look at this one. That's a fresh one. He got an apple in his hand. Like, he got a flower. That Naga look sweet. He's popping the red, white, and blue, which they stole from us. The whole red, white, and blue. They knew they had the, they knew that, well, they stole from us because we made it. Just like the flag. They don't tell you who. They talk about it's a mystery because it came from our ancestors. Every time they talking about something a mystery, you know it came from us. So look at this. This had 2 pairs of Nymburk porcelain. The Negro. And you can visit them, and they'll take. Some of them might try to lie and say it's the African. Some of them tell the truth. And no, this is the Indian. Or they just might call it a Blackamoor. But understand this. You know it's not an African because they just would have called them an African instead of calling them. They always making up something for you. Call you a black or a Blackamoor, and anything they want to feel like calling you. They ain't want to put Indian there though. Let's say the mid 1900s. So even in the mid 1900s, they were still showing the true Indians over in Europe. But there's several of these. And see, like, when it comes to the images, it's one thing to have these images and share these images, but it's another thing to be able to call it right out by definition, man. You don't want to just be like, ooh, look at this, look at that. And, you know, you're just saying this is an Indian, but look, it's a Negro. But not having the historical context behind it, man, from a level of intelligence, man. Like, no, look, this is serious. And one way to get to that easily is having knowledge of the sweet meat Blackamoor. So y'all keep that down. Write it in your mental notebook, Monaga, sweet meat Blackamoor. If anybody want to say, man, you talking about the Indians was black, but it ain't. You ain't got no pictures of them. You got plenty artifacts, and you got plenty stuff that's made that's just showing you and your ancestors. And you can say, yeah, okay. They want to say, you say, well, what about the tobacco Indians? And you say the first one, and they say, oh, the European carvers was blind. You say, okay, well, what about the sweet meat dishes? So you can start cornering these people, and they don't have no answers. When you say, what about the sweet meat Blackamoors, they gonna say, what is that? Because you know they ignorant and they don't know anything about history for real. They don't know anything about history for real. But all right, so we finna get back off this and go on the subject that we really on. But I just wanted to point this out before we go there, because I was gonna do a live stream on this yesterday, but my computer was acting funny. But a sweet meat Blackamoor refers to a type of decorative art, particularly in European porcelain, featuring figures of black people. Notice it didn't say African, it says black people. Often in stylized or exotic-sized manner. What was exotic to Europe in these times? America, not Africa. They had been all in Africa. Often associated with holding or being near sweet meat dishes. Here's a more detailed explanation. Blackamoor is a decorator troll. Forget about that. Depiction of black people. These figures, they want to say sub-Saharan African. Notice they ain't say, see, look. Why they ain't just call you an African? That's how you know these are American Indians they depicting. They say these figures depict individuals of sub-Saharan African descent. Who that sound like they talking about? Sub-Saharan. They try to say that about you. They don't call you an African. They say you are sub-Saharan African descent, saying you come from there. But they don't come from there. These is American Indians. And it's easily provable. But that's a whole nother topic. But tonight, we are talking about the Merchant House Indians. For those that may have forgotten. Everybody want to know where this image come from. Hold your horses. I got you. This image come from exactly what I said. A merchant house. And the particular merchant house that this comes from is the Rokin 64. The Rokin 64. And these is facts, man. Like, I like to joke and play. I like the man. I don't like to just be. This can be depressing too. Our history can be depressing when you start understanding what we had and what we have now. It can be depressing, and that's part of the reason why I joke. That's part of the reason why I roast the descendants of the colonizers. I do all that because I know that this can be emotionally troubling for our people. Just discussing this topic and showing people some stuff like this that You know, when people wake up to this stuff and they start understanding the gravity of the depth of the mind games and everything that's been played on our ancestors, it can make you angry even. So that's why I joke a lot when it comes to it. But the Roken 64, a personification of the continent of America on the Roken. See, so let's talk about it right away. A personification is when you personify something. You can personify anything. You can personify a car. You can say, my car named Betsy. You know, personified your car. You know, gave it a female name and named it a woman, basically. But you personify continents too. When you personify a continent, you basically showing the culture of that continent and the people that's there. So when they personify America on the Roken, which is a merchant house, this is what they showed. This is what they showed. Now look, they insulted you again. They called you dead more in the middle elevation of the top. They might as well just put they N-word. They ninja. They could have put any of that. They're just throwing insults at you. But the person that made this was not insulting you. You was great. Your ancestors was great. They was highly respected, even in world trade, Managa. So you gotta understand, American Indians, when Christopher Columbus and European colonial goons came over here, they discovered all this stuff that they could trade and take back to Europe and basically get rich on. So they took some of our people by force, and some of our people even went by choice. And you got to understand, some of these images are not meant to be disrespectful. The people of today who don't understand true history because they've been lied to and brainwashed, they look at these in the wrong manner and in the wrong light, and then they want to tear them down often. Well, let's talk about it. The Roken 64, this merchant house. And I know y'all want to know what a merchant house is. We're going to talk about it. A personification of the continent of America on the Roken. The Roken 64 features a spectacular top. They say you are spectacular. They say that is spectacular right there. See what I'm saying? This is not an insult. That is spectacular. The Roken 64 features a spectacular top. A proud black man with a staff and bow and arrow. But what is actually depicted here? A black slave, or rather a proud Indian. Salute. See, I love when you find, I love when we find and share honest sources. Hey, Lonnie Dobbins in the house, Legend Nagachard in the house, salute. I love when we've got so many sources that's willing to lie to us and call everything black or African and not be honest, even though we can see with our clear eyes that we're looking at Indians. It says, what is depicted here? They say, but what is actually depicted here? A black slave, or rather a proud Indian. See, even the person that wrote this, they struggling with the brainwash that they've been taught and lied to. They asking the question. They conflicted right now. They say, what is this? They say, is this from everything I've been taught, this is a black slave, but this is spectacular. How could this be a black slave? And he got on a feathered headdress. He got a bow and arrow. And he's looking very prominent like a king with gold. They say, how could this be a slave? But everything I've been taught, that this is an African slave, from everything I've been taught. That dark skin, they say a black slave, or rather a proud Indian. They say the dark skin color and the Negro appearance make an African. That's a lie. That's
you
a
big
lie.
Dummy.
You dark skin and Negro appearance don't make an African. You've been lied to. You've been brainwashed. Negro does not equal African. Black does not equal African. Dark skin is not equal or synonymous with African. A so-called Moor, I suspect you suspect the lie. But you suspect all that. But you got to keep leaning back to the culture. You say he's not dressed like an African. He say he don't look like a Muslim. How could he be a Moor? You say, but this don't make sense. The bow and arrow and the Indian headdress, beautifully designed like a barrel crest, are the attributes of a Native American. You can be racist all you want and try to say black mean African and go back to Africa where you never came from. You can be racist all you want. But you cannot deny the culture. You cannot deny the culture that our ancestors created, that represent us in the origin, in the beginnings of this. It cannot be denied. Nobody can deny it. It says this is a Native American, straight up. It says the image of a Moor, the image of the Indian, dressed as an Indian. No, he's an Indian. He's not a Moor dressed as an Indian. Why would you dress a Moor as an Indian? What makes sense? What sense does that make? What sense does it make to dress a Moor as an Indian? It doesn't make any sense. You gotta imagine lies to make sense of the truth. The easy answer, without having to imagine anything, is that you're looking at an Indian. If you dress like an Indian, you're an Indian. If you outside at 2 o'clock in the morning with shorts up your ass, you looking like a prostitute. If you're outside with a police uniform, you looking like a cop. This is an Indian. This is not a Moor dressed as an Indian. Well, okay, where did the Moor come from if he's a Moor dressed as an Indian? Now you got to make lie after lie. You got to pile lie on top of lies, because questions going to come after that. This is the image of a Moor dressed as an Indian. The image of an Indian is a house sign. What kind of house? A merchant house. The 17th century commissioner was Bartholomew Moore. Bartholomew Moore, that was his name, who owned the house, the commissioner. He was born in 1573, huh? Well, before 1619, huh? And he died in 1636. A Fleming who had settled in Amsterdam. Amsterdam, oh, they love to smoke in Amsterdam, huh? Amsterdam, pleasures of the smoke, huh? Amsterdam had some of the first down legalized smoke shops, huh? The house was the largest merchant house on the Rokin. From the archives, we can conclude that in September 1632, Peter Tripp, the nephew and companion of the wealthy Elias Tripp, lived here. Later, Bartholomew Moore lived on the Haringrat in a house that was also called Indymoor. Indymoor, what? Indymoor, huh? In my opinion, the hybrid portrayal, that's not a hybrid. That's not a hybrid. Now you got to make them a hybrid. You got to make up something. In your opinion, though. That's your opinion, huh? That's your racist opinion. Now you so racist that you say he can't be an Indian because he's black. You say these black people in America, they can't be Indians. That's your racism. You say they gotta be Africans. They gotta be African slaves. That's your racism. That's your racist opinion. That is not the truth. You say, in his opinion, the hybrid portrayal of a black man with his staff and bow and arrow is in reality something we regularly encounter in art history. Yeah, you regularly encounter, because you had to create everything that you found in America artistically and show it off in Europe, especially the decorative of private, especially the decoration of private houses or public buildings in abstract personifications. And it ain't nothing abstract about it. In Amsterdam canal houses, as often see in Amsterdam canal houses, we often see the 4 continents depicted. Here, only one continent is personified: America. The continent of both. They telling you this is America. They put a Negro Indian right there on it, an Indian, and you still want to make him an African. They say the continent of both the Indians and the plantations with which Amsterdam traded. Boom. They say America. That's the continent of the Indians, and that's the continent where they traded, the plantations. What kind of plantations? Tobacco plantations with Amsterdam. A similar image program can be found in the top of Uzi 187, where the Negroes are depicted less proudly and much more as slaves. See, you see that? They say it's another one, but we ain't really showing them like an Indian, so proud. We showing them like slaves. Dre Carr's music in the house. Y'all want to pull that one up real quick? That's a funny ass name. I ain't gonna remember how to type that. Let me see if I can copy that. That funny ass name. All right. Damn. I'm gonna come back to that. We gonna put it up. They talking about we got us looking like slaves. Then they probably like, yep, see, they from Africa. Probably we don't have to look for more on the Roken than that the house sign was also a signboard. See, it was meant to, see, that's how you see, here we go. They say it was also a signboard for overseas trade. With who? You wasn't trading with Africa. You was trading with America. So what you was selling at that merchant house? Tobacco. It has little to do with slavery. It has nothing. The only part of slavery has to do with is that how y'all stole the tobacco fields and had niggas working on getting that tobacco for y'all. It has little to do with slavery, which slave held a. They say, look at that. It had little to do with slavery. They said what I just said. What slave got on feathers and a bow and arrow? They say what slave held a staff and bow and an arrow? Those are weapons. What slave you know had this? Only free people rule the staff. Free people, free Negroes rule the staff and hunt bow and arrow. Perhaps the archives tell more about Bartholomew More. For example, was he involved in overseas trade with America? Of course he was. Was he a tobacco merchant? Was he a tobacco merchant? Boom shakalaka! Oh, the merchant house. Okay, so you mean to tell me the Sagasto Indians was Negroes because European carvers in the 1600s didn't know what a Native American looked like, huh? But before the Sagastos had it made, before the Sagasto even was made, and the Sagasto Indian even ever existed, before that even happened, it was medicinal purposes in Europe. So the tobacco was first being sold at pharmacies and at merchant houses. It went from the pharmacy to the merchant house to the Sagasto. When it was medicinal at first, it was at the pharmacy, and we got the Moran apothecary or the pharmacy Indians, which is Negroes. It can't say whether the people that made the pharmacy signs never saw Native Americans. They can't even use that excuse. And you can't use that excuse for the merchant house. So let's get into what a merchant house is for these tobacco merchants. Look, more research is needed before the meaning of the house sign can be better interpreted. This MF... See, these people making these pages, man, they need to come watch my show, man. Because he talk about more research needed. Well, I'm finna give it to you right now. You don't even, he writing this article talking about, could it be this? Could it be that? Razzle dazzle this. And you don't even know the history, MF. You talking about, is this a slave or a proud Indian? It's clearly an Indian, and it got everything to do with tobacco in America. And it may have something to do with slavery, you fool. You silly fool.
There's powerful niggardry at work here.
Got some powerful niggardry. But let's get into it. What a merchant house is, man. Let's go on and prove history, man. Because these suckers trying to steal our history and steal our ancestry, these suckers, and the history don't line up with them whatsoever. All the way back to Columbus. A merchant house refers to a historical residence, often a row house, that was the home of a wealthy merchant family, and which has been preserved as a museum, showcasing the lifestyle and possessions of that family. Let's go into the historical context. Here's a more detailed explanation. Historical significance. Merchant houses are significant because they offer a glimpse into the daily lives of affluent families during a specific period, often the 19th century and earlier. Preservation as museums. Many of these houses have been preserved as museums, allowing visitors to explore period rooms furnished with original furnishings, household items, and personal possessions. Examples: Merchant House Museum, New York City. Let's go to the old ones. Medieval Merchant House, England. This is a merchant house that was begun in about 1290 by John Fortin, a merchant who traded with Bordeaux. Let me hit my water. Hold on, y'all. Architectural features. Merchant houses often feature architectural style characteristics of the period they were built in, such as late Federal and Greek Revival style. Okay, F all that. So y'all see the merchant house. It was merchants. These was wealthy, affluent family. They were merchant. They dealt in overseas trade. The one we was looking at in the Roken, they said that he dealt particularly in America. That's what he just told us. They said, for example, was he involved in overseas trade with America? Was he a tobacco merchant? Yes, they're on to something. I could tell them more. So we know these merchant houses was basically merchant seamen. Salute. Some of you Nagas right now might be merchant seamen. If you're watching me right now, you a merchant seaman, hit me in the chat. Cause you don't understand that that's traditionally a Naga trade. Being a merchant seaman is traditionally an American Naga line of work. And I can prove it. But let's go here. Since we're talking the merchant houses. While pinpointing the very first merchant house is difficult, evidence suggests that merchant guilds began forming during the medieval period, with an example of a merchant guild formed by the merchants of Til and Gelderland, today the Netherlands, in 1020 being a notable early example. See, these merchant houses go back. It go back way before they came. They brought their monkey ass over here. See, they been trading stuff. But early merchant activity, the rise of merchant guilds and merchant houses coincides with the growth of towns and cities during the medieval period. Guild formation, merchant houses which served as both homes and businesses, typically had narrow frontages extending deep into the property with a front room for business and a central hall for living. Examples of merchant houses. Okay, so y'all get it. It's basically a storehouse. Merchant house, a storehouse. See, here go a picture of one. And see, y'all remember they couldn't read back then. A lot of them peasants in Europe couldn't read. And the immigrants in America. The immigrants in America couldn't read either. The Indians was reading and writing Hebrew. See, they was jealous of us, our ancestors, man. They came over here talking about we ain't had no formal language because our language was Hebrew, and they know it, and they find it in the writing, and they knew we could read and write. They ass was illiterate. They gotta put pictures of an engine on the damn building to let people know where to get some smoke from. So these merchant houses, merchant seamen, merchant houses, they was tradesmen going across. This one in particular, they was trading with America. So let's move on a little further. In the 18th century, merchant houses in England, like Robert Carey and Company, played a crucial role in the tobacco trade. Oh, here we go. Oh, shucks now. So the merchant seamen played a crucial role in the tobacco trade, receiving shipments from colonial planters, storing the tobacco and selling it on the European market, with planters relying on these houses for the sale of their crops and the purchase of goods.
Boom shakalaka!
Very interesting, huh? So before cigar store Indian, huh? So you can't sell a merchant house Indian. You can't sell that. It's attached to the building, so it's worth its weight in gold. You can't even sell him. So you can say, oh, as long as these Nagas don't go over there to England, they'll never know. Say, we got to keep these Negroes from getting passports. The devil is a liar. With planters relying on these houses for the sale of their crops and the purchase of goods. Here's a more detailed explanation. The role of merchant houses. Planters would ship their tobacco crops to an English port, where a merchant house would store it in the warehouse until it was sold. These merchant houses, like Robert Carey and Company, acted as intermediaries, receiving shipments from colonial clients and selling their crops in Europe. They would then send manufactured goods back to the planter, and purchase with the proceeds of the tobacco sale. Example, Robert Carey. George Washington, a prominent Virginia planter, relied on Robert Carey and Company to sell his tobacco, to sell our tobacco Washington would ship his tobacco to England, where Carrier would store it and sell it on the market. Why don't teach this in school? I wonder why. It goes right along with slavery, right? George Washington, huh? In 1760, Washington wrote to Carrier complaining that his tobacco was sold too soon and at a low price, at too low of a price. This mother is So George Washington was a tobacco lord, basically. The tobacco trade and the rise of the tobacco lords. The tobacco trade fueled the rise of wealthy merchants known as the tobacco lords. These merchants like Andrew Buchanan and John Glassford became extremely wealthy through the tobacco trade. The tobacco lords were responsible for the enslavement of many American Indians and profiteered from their labor. Salute. See, man.
Boom shakalaka!
People want to talk about reparations, and they want to challenge the U.S. government for reparations, and the government know that the argument is stupid. Talking about some Shaka Zulu, Kente Kunte from Africa, the government know that's a fictitious, stupid argument. That's why they're not even entertaining it. All you got to do is say, "Hey, man, we know who owe us. We know U.S. government. You owe us the land, and you a fictitious, corrupt, illegal government." But we know who owe us the money. All these MFers like Andrew Buchanan, who came up off our ancestors' tobacco farms. This who owe us reparations. They owe us the money and the land. The U.S. government, yeah, you could say they owe us money, but in these these merchants like Andrew Buchanan and John Glassford became extremely wealthy through the tobacco trade. The tobacco lords were responsible. They were responsible. The tobacco lords owe reparations to black people in America. The tobacco lords were responsible for the enslavement of black America. The tobacco lords were responsible for the enslavement of the black Negro American Indian, who introduced tobacco to the world and profiteered from their labor and our land. This is very simple, very easy. But if we're going to be on one accord about something, it needs to be this. We don't need to be on one accord talking about going and voting for a goofy in the political parties. That is goofy. We need to be on one accord about who we truly are. We need to be on one accord about who we truly are, man. But we ain't gonna never get nothing. Definitely not our respect. Tobacco Merchant's house in Glasgow, 42 Miller Street in Glasgow, is known as the Tobacco Merchant's house. A reminder of the city's wealth built on the tobacco. The whole city wealth got built on American Indian tobacco, Managa. And the exploitation of the enslaved people. They said people. Why didn't you say? See, they know they can't say Africans. They know they would be a lie. Because this was before. They know it would be a lie if they say Africa. They're scared to say Indian because they don't want to expose the truth. The house was built in 1775 and was occupied by prominent merchants, including Robert Finley, a tobacco importer. It illustrates the 18th century and 1700s living conditions of average merchants and is a reminder of how Glasgow's merchants grew their wealth on the backs of slaves in the America and the Indies period. America is the Indies, not America and the West Indies, the Indies. And it's funny, man. Y'all want to see? All right, I'm going to show y'all something else. Y'all know some of these merchant houses was Negroes, and the truth be told, some of these merchants was Indians. Salute.
Boom shakalaka!
You know, you had big chief Indians, powerful Indian chiefs from America that went to Europe and put it down and showed them indentured slaves over there how to grow that tobacco and make that money. That's why they put them on that buildings. That was probably some prominent Indian chief that went over there and showed them about that tobacco game and made them white boys over there rich. They put his ass on the building, though. It might even been a Negro on that building. And see, this is what people don't understand about all of this. I'm going to show you something else that you might not understand. Let me show you a merchant house that you might not ever heard of. And this a whole nother show, but we ain't even finna go too thin on this, but I'm finna show you something about these merchant houses. I bet you ain't never heard of the Blackhead Brotherhood. Bet you ain't never heard of the Blackhead Brotherhood.
It's powerful niggardry at work here.
Who heard of the Brotherhood of Blackheads? The Brotherhood of Blackheads is an association of local unmarried male merchants. These were rich bachelors in the mid 14th century. And they were ship owners and foreigners. Now look, they say they're telling you they were foreigners. Now look at the name, the Brotherhood of Blackheads. Association of local unmarried male merchants, ship owners and foreigners. See, some of them was local bachelor merchants. All of them was bachelors. Some of them was local merchants. Some of them was ship owners going to America, and some of them were foreigners that came from America. Salute. So you want to see what the Brotherhood of Blackheads look like? Well, they got the Blackheads of Talon. They got the House of the Blackheads. Look at one of the local Blackheads. You want to see what some of the foreign Blackheads was looking like? The Brotherhood of Blackheads. Bet you didn't know. I'm a Negro history historian. I do this shit for fun. I dream about this type of stuff. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm just getting started for real. Like a Naga really want to challenge me in this history stuff. Well, go ahead. You want to see what the foreign brotherhoods of Blackhead, these rich tobacco merchants that came from America, look like? They were Indians, and I can prove it. I'm gonna show it to you. Let's go to the House of Talon, to the Blackhead House. Yeah, they got a big chief Indian in there, and he over there in Europe selling
Shakalaka!
getting polo shirts and Gucci. This Naga slick ass, see, and some of they fought too, because they was greedy, wanting money and stuff. He done took his ass over there about some colonizer cash and some polo shirts, and look what happened to us. He should have stayed his ass over here, him and some other ones, man. It's the Brotherhood Black, and then now you read about the brother. I'm gonna do a show about the Brotherhood Blackheads. Some people gonna want to tell you that the Blackheads was white men. Don't line up with history, boss. Some ignorant people gonna tell you, hey, well, why did these white guys have these black men in the house? Idiot. See, I don't got no sympathy for people that's that dumb and gullible. I don't got no sympathy for them. That's why I call them names, if they that dumb and gullible. Because you meant to be a sheep. Yeah, we're gonna talk about, but let's get back into what we're talking about. I ain't gonna drift off to that, because that's a whole nother show. We'll talk about that later. But that's just one merchant house. Yeah, the Brotherhood, the Blackhead Brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I showed my mama that. She was tripping. My mama be like, where you be finding this stuff at? No, hey, Carolina Cotton in the house. I told my mama, I said, I am an enigma. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? All right, tobacco lords. See, some of these tobacco lords are Indians too, man. We got to be honest about history, man. We can't be dishonest, man. We can't blame it all on I know it's real convenient to try to blame it all on white people and the colonizers. That's convenient as hell. But it's some of our ancestors' fault. Some of these tobacco lords and slave masters was our ancestors, man. And they was Indians, man. It's just being honest. The tobacco lords were a group of, look at these tobacco lords were a group of Scottish merchants active during the Georgian area, who made substantial sums of money via their participation in the tobacco trade. We know, man. We already know how y'all popped off and got rich. Y'all had owe us some money, man. And the government need to just get the hell on. The tobacco lords Scottish who make substantial sums of money via their participation in the triangular trade. They don't tell you about the triangular trade. See, they always try to tell you transatlantic bullshit. Look, primarily through dealing in slave-produced tobacco. See, boom. Then they show you the ads again with the Indians, man. they messed up with this for real. They messed up big time with all this showing off, making these advertisements, making cigar store Indians, making pharmacy Indians, making merchant house, and they effed up for real doing all this. We might have would have believed that African shit if it wasn't all this historical evidence available. Tobacco, look, that was grown in the 13 colonies. Of course, they talking about the U.S. See, tobacco. Some of that shit came from the Caribbean, but that was the dirt. The dirt weed came from the Caribbean, man. The pressure. Man, the loud pack, man. The sweet smelling smoke came from Virginia, man. It was the U.S., man. We got to be honest about this shit, because this is story. This is history, and it got everything to do with our ancestors in particular. Nagas in the Caribbean, yon. I gave you the sweet. Nagas in the Caribbean, I gave y'all ass the sweet meat, Blackamoor Naga. Damn, what else you want, Naga? What else you want? What else you want there, niggas? History. In 1707, the Treaty of Union between Scotland and England gave Scottish merchants access to the English colonies, especially in North America. See, especially in Virginia, the U.S. Glasgow position on the River Clyde where the westerlies hit Europe, as well as in other places like Bristol, Nantes, or Bordeaux, may have been an opportunity for its merchants. See, man, they had a monopoly. Look, in 1747, a monopoly for the importation of tobacco into French territories. The deepening of the class. See, boy, tobacco, I'm telling y'all, boy, the tobacco trade. You really want to know about the Negro? If you a U.S. Negro, boy, you really want to know. You feel like you lost in Africa and all this goofy shit. You really want to know slavery and shit, nigga. Tobacco, nigga. You ain't gonna get no closer to home than tobacco, nigga. You gonna get thrown off the path looking for all this other shit. Tobacco in America. Tobacco cultivation and exports form an essential component of the American colonial economy. It was distinct from rice, wheat, cotton, and other cash crops, and sugar too. See, tobacco was distinct. Cause for one, the one reason why tobacco was distinct, because they never ever saw tobacco before in their life till they ran into the Indians. Yes, they saw rice before. Yes, they saw wheat before. They didn't see the kind of wheat we have. They may not have seen cotton like we got, but that tobacco was that. Come on now, tobacco and all the shit that they were smoking, man. They just say tobacco, but you got to use your imagination. They're not gonna. Of course, they're not gonna say tobacco, weed, and cocaine. They're not gonna say all that shit on the internet. But you gotta have you gotta open your eyes though. The real lick was all the dope they found, man. I'm telling y'all the truth, man. It come from America. Cocaine come from America, man. Tobacco, weed, all that come from America, man. Everything you want to roll up and smoke, whatever kind of smoker you is, everything except fentanyl. These motherfuckers was DMFers from Europe was junkies, man. We gotta understand. Look how they is now. I'm just saying, man. Tobacco merchant house, see? See, this was photo, see? It wasn't no cigar store Indian in. It wasn't no wooden statues. These MFers couldn't read. They put that naga on the front of the building most of the time. They ain't gonna show, when you just look up tobacco merchant, of course they're not gonna show you the ones with the Indians on them. You gotta know what to look for. You type in tobacco merchant house, they ain't gonna show you the one with the nagas on them. You gotta understand how to pull them up. But the real deal ones, they got nagas on the front of them bitches and inside. Like the Blackhead house. Hold on, man. Let me go to the I'm gonna go to the Blackhead house, the house of Pat. Let me show y'all what this thing got inside. The Brotherhood of the Blackheads attack the House of the Blackheads in Thailand. See now, see they don't even want to show you all the pictures. Let me just type it in. It don't say no house of white boys. Say house of the black kids. See why they not showing you, man? It's crazy how they don't want to show you, man. I can put it up. I gotta go to I'm gonna have to go to this page, man, to put it up because this is why they not wanting to show a Naga the blackheads. They showing Nagas everything but the blackhead. They like, yeah, see, look how tall it is. They showing this is crazy. Alright. See, they don't want to reveal to you. If they hoping you don't know. Look. Alright, statues then. I'm gonna force them. You gotta force the internet to tell the truth. Give me the House of Blackhead statues. You know what the hell I came from. And you still ain't showing me the real deal. This is crazy. I'm gonna have to put it up in my phone and transfer it over because the computer ain't different with the search. Wow. Statues. Okay, a black man. Damn, I had to do all that to put them up. Damn. They talking about this St. Maurice in the House of the Blackheads. Look what they got in here, man. They in here selling tobacco with real deal, with real tobacco Indians in there. They selling shit. These MFers, boy, these MFers in Europe slick. And now they done turned the house into a museum. They said this is beautiful. Look at some of the furniture in there and stuff. That's that one we already looked at. It's a chair they got in there with some Negro heads on the chair, man. Like see all these little carvings, you gotta look close because you gotta really look at what it is. They got a chair with some Negro heads, man. But it's royalty. It's not racism. Some people will say, oh, it's racism. Nah, that's some raw shit. These was niggas. These was some rich ass niggas living in here, man. This what people are not seeing. Ain't no white man finna build a house and put all these niggas. Well, these white people today will because they know that shit worth money. But back then, in these times, with this shit worth money then, what white person was gonna make a house that they living in with all this in there? Really? And then they always talking about they mystery men. They ain't no damn mystery men. These was niggas. They killed me with they always talking about it's a mystery. They killed me with that mystery shit. They don't be wanting to tell the truth. Damn, what just happened? They be wanting to say it's a mystery. Nah, this ain't no mystery. It's a mystery to you. You want to make it a mystery. Nagas got art all on the ceiling. It's more statues in there than that. It was a web page I was reading from. I had to pull it back up from my phone. The white boy on there talking about it, he done went over. White boy went over there like, what the hell? he thought he went over there to Europe to learn some white history. His ass done stumbled on the House of Blackheads. He had to go in that bitch. He had to go in there. He said, what is this? It's a magnificent building. He said, this is very old. He took his ass. Think about it. If you white and you went to Europe and shit thinking, yeah, man, I'm going back to my mother's land. You know what I'm saying? And then you see the House of the Black. You see a merchant house or where they was selling tobacco and stuff they was trading from America. Then you walk in there think you finna get some good white history. And boy, look at here. Your ass. This is why they be mad at us. We be wondering why they don't like us. We be like, man, why these people so mad at us? Why white people got a problem? Like, cause you know we be naive and shit. A lot of us grew up. Some of us believe in the Africa story. You know what I'm saying? Naive as hell. Grew up believing you was just an African slave, and you finally got free. And you like, it's free now. And you like, well, damn, but why these white people be hating me? Well, this is why, Naga. These white people know the truth about your ass. And it's upsetting to their history. When they go to their own history, they like, man, we thought this was our shit. It's these niggas again. They go over to Europe to try to get away from us in America, and they like, damn, here these niggas go again. That's what they be saying. Nelson Charles in the house, salute. Look at these. See, that's a European Naga right there. That ain't one out. That's a European Naga. Ha. Sometimes they'll show you these Nagas with it blindfolded. You ever seen the one where they blindfolded? They take the headband and put it down over their eyes. But I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you this where you might not notice this. Remember we was talking about the see, I keep my eyes open, I pay attention to stuff. I'm not so convinced that those those are possibly Indians too. You don't think so? With the headband on? Hey, Kyle Ian in the house, salute. Even with the headband on, those are possibly American Indians. Oh, I can. Somebody gonna say, man, see them the Moors right there. So I told you a sweet. When we started the show, I told you about the sweet meat Indians. Yeah, he got his headband on, salute. You gotta have your eyes open, man.
Boom shakalaka!
You can't be around blackjack with your eyes closed and missing shit. I don't miss nothing, dog. They sold that one for $900. I would have bought that. It was 4 dishes too. Now I got 4 dishes with that thing. What they all look like? Let's see. Now I got 4 dishes for $900. Damn, man. See, sold. Damn. I could be missing out, boy. Or say see them two right there. I don't know about these two ugly ones. I would have just went. I was like, give me the one with the Negroes. Give me the one with the American Indians on them. Cause in Africa they damn sure wasn't dressing like this. They damn sure wasn't dressing like this in no Africa. You talking about that's a Moor. You know what you talking about. Don't know what you talking about. Yeah. So even when we see him like that, you gotta understand. Do you really understand what you're looking at? Do you really understand, Managa? Do we really understand, Managa? Man, they put that thing there out there probably in 1993 or some shit, some bullshit. That shit does not fit in. That shit don't fit in. No way, no how. It don't fit in whatsoever. Look at that. That's the only thing they gonna be able to stand around. They go inside that building, boy, ain't nothing in there like that. They like, who the hell built this damn building? The Negroes. They got what they done put Becky on that thing. Yeah. All this, see, this look like New Jack, man. This look like they added this, man. See, even this one could possibly have been added later, cause it don't look old as them statues on the inside. Tell you that much. Ain't nothing but white people sitting right there. They probably like, take it down. This is racist. They like, this is racist. Look at that white girl. Hey, you know she got a rude awakening when she went in there and saw that. She rethinking life right now, boy. She like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? She's rethinking. And they want to try to say it's a slave. That's the only thing they can try to leave, no. But they can try to say it's a slave. Man, this is hilarious, man. This is hilarious, man. Hold on. Wait a minute, man. Damn, man. This is funny, man. This how sisters be looking when they be having that blonde hair. Y'all be looking like this. Man, this is hilarious, man. Dang, boy, these people, they like, man, this guy got on gold and emeralds. This can't be a slave. He can't be an African. They say he black as hell, but he got feathers on. They're like, this is an Indian, man. They in there like battling with their own thoughts, man. That's crazy. I can tell they in there battling with their own thoughts, man. Black people be in there battling with their own thoughts too. And the Lord in the house salute, instinct in the house salute. They probably in there just battling with it. It's like, I never seen that. What kind of African is this? Like, I wonder what tribe. I never seen these Africans with feathers around their legs like this. They in there just having an epiphany right now. Then they seeing all this other, they were like, where are the shackles? Where are the whips and chains, damn it?
Big dummy.
Stars Magicon in the house, salute. They like, where are the whips and chains and shackles? I don't see any of that in here. I'm seeing porcelain and chandeliers and crystals in the back. They like, this is not slavery. I know cause they don't know. See, and if you don't know real history, this is what you would be thinking. Your thoughts would be contradicted. That's why I'm glad I know, boy. I know exactly what I'm looking at, man. He got a shield. That nigga got a nice ass shield, man. Look at this. I know exactly what I'm looking at. These people crazy. They probably they got crystals in there. They be like, man, Winston, this is not slavery. They were like, all of this is raw. She's like, where the white people at? That's what she said. And look, see, all this shit ain't about worth nothing. That shit ain't worth nothing. That shit ain't worth nothing. Now they done got up there with some watercolors and made a Daniel Boone painting. Man, that cheap ass Daniel Boone painting. That damn frame that painting in ain't worth a damn, man. That shit, y'all effing up the room. See, that's what I'm saying. See, the nigglets again. See, you can't escape the nigglets though. You can't escape these nigglets. See. Look, they got nigglets everywhere. They got, look at the little niglet statues up there. They done came in here. It ain't a white Moor. It ain't no white or Moor up there. No, ain't nobody ain't up there, man. Why the white Moor ain't there? See, they come in with this bullshit. Bullshit! Bruh, they gotta always insert themselves at the cookout, man. What the hell going on, man? See, I need to go over there, cause you mean to tell me ain't nobody going in and called it out? I would have had, man, where security at, man? Hold up, man. I would have went in that thing, man. Where the manager at, man? This is fraud, man. Why y'all got this cartoon ass Daniel Boone up here, man, but you ain't got no statue though? This is bullshit, man. Stop inserting y'allself on our shit, man. Damn, man. You can't let the nigga have nothing. Gotta insert theyself. Niggas all in handmade artifacts everywhere. It ain't one. You gotta go in there and paint a bunch of white people in there. Man, come on, man. And they ain't gonna lie. These are slaves, man. You don't get your grease monkey looking ass on somewhere. When since you seen slaves looking like this? Cool fast, man. Enoch 0407 in the house, salute. Look at her. Her ass confused as hell. She like, man, this time I'm gonna take a picture though. That shit cute. She like, oh, look at these chairs. See, they got nigglets all on the chairs. They got, one of these chairs I had pulled up. That mother was for sale. That mother was so much money though. Like right here on the arm, they had nigglet heads, man. I was like, damn, I want that MF and chair. I was like, that is a throne. I was like, they got a nigglet head on the left, a nigglet head on the right. I'm like, man, how much that chair cost, man? I'm like, man, somebody been sitting in that chair too. They better stop that shit. See, if I had a chair in my house, you better not sit in my chair. You sit in my chair, I'm gonna throw your ass out. You come on my house, you can't come on my house. You come over my house sitting in that chair. You know how I'm gonna do your ass? Hold on, man. Y'all think this shit a game, man. Hold on, man. You come over my house and sit in that chair, I'm gonna throw your ass out like Trump did Zelensky ass in the White House. You come in my house and sit in that chair, you better not try no Rick James talking shit, talking about nigga F your chair, nigga. You better not try me like that, nigga. You come in my house talking about F your chair, your couch.
This everybody die. Everyone
Couch. Man, I'm gonna kick your ass out, man. I'm gonna do you like Trump did Zelensky. Your ass is gonna be out of there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do your matter of fact, you come to my house and you sit in that damn chair, I'm gonna kick your ass out like this. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. This how I'm gonna throw your ass out. If you come on my house and you dare sit in my Negro chair, I'm gonna throw your ass out like this, y'all. Look, hold on. Damn, my computer wanna slow up now. You come on my house and sit in my damn chair if you want to, man. I'm telling you, that's how you going out the door, man. You going out the door just like that. There you sit in my Negro chair. Yeah, it's out of here. You know what I'm saying? I bet I see no booty print in my chair. If I go in the back and then I come back out the back and you standing there looking like this, and you gonna set your ass in my great Negro chair, you going out the door like this. That's how your ass getting that. I'm throwing your ass out. You sit in my damn chair, my Negro throne, man. Don't nobody sit in that throne. Don't nobody get to sit in that chair. Your ass in there. Look how tall the ceiling. Her ass can't even reach that shit up there. She need a ladder. Man. Look how tall that shit is, man. Come on, man. See, we gotta put this shit in perspective, man. Ain't nobody. Why it ain't no white people on no chairs, huh? Why it ain't no white man on the chair? Answer that. I know it's some white people watching. I always got white people watching. I be looking at my demographics I look at my demographics. I always got white people watching. Speak up, white people. I know y'all watching. Why it ain't no white people on the chairs, man? Where the white throne, man? Y'all in there on them paintings, man. I'm just being real, man. We up in Europe. You talking about your motherland, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got no chair, boy. Y'all ain't got no chair, boy. Y'all ain't got no chair, boy. Talk crazy. Look at that. They done inserted themselves. Oh, see, look at that. Oh, boy. What do we have here, y'all? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Is that the King Niglet? What the hell going on with this? You know what I'm saying? See? I don't even see. I feel like I don't even want to read whatever they say this is, because they're going to lie. I know they're going to lie. I know they're going to lie about this one. Whatever this is, they're going to lie. Ain't no sense in me trying to read whatever they got down here. I know they lying. Look at this. What is? All right. Oh, wow. Look at this. Man, what's going on here, man? This some medieval shit. Look at this shit in this building, man. This shit is very old, man. Still in great condition, though. Hey, we got buildings like this in Jacksonville, boy, with shit like this. I was in a restaurant house with shit like this the other day. I was in Savannah, though. I wasn't even in Jacksonville, but we got shit like this in Jacksonville, too, though. It's shit like this all over America, for real. This ain't even America, though. This is Europe. What's this? Nigglets everywhere, see? I know the white people over there going crazy. I know they going crazy because the Negro to white man count is not very good in this building. I know they going crazy right now. They gotta be going crazy. Because from the outside, that building's so tight. They like, damn, let's go in here. And then once they get in and they got that white lady on the front of the building too, then once they get in, it's over with. Nigglets everywhere. This is the house of the nigglets, the house of the blackheads. Oh, what is this? See, yeah, see, now we getting to the truth in things. Come to this colonial shit. Now we getting down to the truth of these colonizer swords. Who is this nigga? With this bow right here. Who is that? That's Men in Tights. That's the house of the blackheads though. That shit that's off me nuts. You gotta see all that shit I had to type in for them to show you what was inside, cause they don't want to show you. They want to show you the outside, keep showing you that white lady. They don't want to show you what's inside that building, boy. Go in there. I bet the white kids get scared when they go in there. The white kids probably be terrified when they go in there. Man, this is creepy. This is creepy. I can hear him now. Scooby-Doo looking ass. This is creepy, Mom. We're ready to go. Yeah, these merchant houses, man. Y'all do y'all research on the merchant houses, man. If y'all want to learn about this, cause but see, I'm telling y'all, tobacco, boy. Hey, Dazi Kanagi in the house. Ain't seen Dazi Kanazi in a minute. Salute to Dazi Kanazi. Yeah, they don't want you studying that tobacco history, boy. Like, see, I am an expert in tobacco history. I know y'all think I be joking, but I am an expert for real. I don't know too many people that know more about the history of tobacco than me. I'm an expert in certain stuff. Like, I'm an expert in the history of tobacco for a very important reason. I'm an expert in the history of the Bone Savage. I'm an expert in the history of the Bone Savage French clocks. I am an expert on all of these because I know anytime they want to test me, I'm like, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I be ready. I be like, you just don't know what you're thinking with. I be running up on people for real. I be hoping they'll fake a $5 Indian so I can challenge them. In a historical duel, you know what I'm saying? I be wanting to wake their ass up. I be wanting to wake their ass up to a nightmare, you know what I'm saying? You really want to debate me with this shit? You really want to do this? Hey, I already know this. Just like I'm a tobacco Indian expert, man. I don't know too many people know more about cigar store Indians than me. I studied these things intentionally. Like, I don't be playing around. Like, when I'm gonna study something, I'm gonna find like everything I can about it just so you can't beat me. That's why I be doing it. I do it so you can't beat me. Like, I wanna, like, all right, we can talk these cigar store Indians. All right, I'm gonna cover everything I can possibly cover about them. You want to talk about these pharmacy Indians, all right? I'm gonna try to leave no stone uncovered. It's like when that white lady came in the chat that day talking about European carvers didn't know what Indians look like, Native Americans look like, so these blackies were Virginians. Remember that white girl came in there a couple weeks ago? I started going in on the tobacco Indian. My cousin was like, man, Man, go on and leave that shit alone. I'm like, hell no, nigga. Hell no. We ain't leaving shit alone, nigga.
You gonna find our ass down. Got him!
Fucking word, and this shit is over.
I'm like, hell no. We ain't leaving nothing alone. We gonna drive that shit so deep in the ground. We gonna kick a dead horse so much that we gonna wake the motherfucker up and kill him again. We gonna we put stupid shit to rest over here. I can do 100 episodes on tobacco. I can go down this tobacco lane so deep, people gonna say, damn, I didn't know it was some more to talk about with tobacco shit. I know. Cause everybody that don't know history, they think it's all about the Sagasta Indians. Dog, naga. It's about the pharmacy Indian, naga. It's about the merchant house Indian, naga. It's about the sweet meat niggas, naga. See, I don't gotta talk law. I don't gotta talk none of that shit. I don't gotta talk about segregation. I don't have to talk about the 3/5. I don't have to talk about any of that shit. I can though. I don't have to. Nah, because can't nobody get around this shit right here. When it cut I can stay on tobacco for a year. Can't nobody get around this. You cannot get around it. It ain't no way around it. I got some more. I'm gonna do a show. We're gonna dive into the sweet meat treats a little deeper, and sugar plantations. We're gonna dive into that a little bit, and I'm gonna do a show on the Blackheads Italian. I'm gonna do a show just strictly by that, show y'all what that shit really about. You can research it on your own too. You don't gotta wait on me. Like the House of the Blackheads, this shit right here. You can dig into it. But you gonna find some bullshit. You gonna find some hijack. But look into it and see what you find. They gonna lie and tell you, oh, these prominent white men living in here. Bullshit. I'm gonna try to tell. They gonna spend most of the time trying to convince you that these was white merchants, these wealthy merchants was white men living in here. And then the other rest of the time, they gonna try to explain why they got all these niggas in here. They gonna like this article right here. Like this very article. I read this article. I ain't about to read this hijack again. It spent the whole time talking about it was a mystery of who these merchants was, and then trying to say they had to be white, and then saying why they got niggas in here. It's basically what this article said. Talking about St. Maurice in the House of the Blackheads. But you ain't gonna find a whole lot on it. You ain't gonna find a whole lot about it, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna get at y'all later, man. We about to wrap this up. I got some shit to go do before it get too late. Yeah, it's about 9:30. Before it get too late, man. I appreciate y'all riding out with me one more time, and we're gonna get up again. Peace.